Hi, buddy. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session for Jenny. So, as always, thank you very much for the generous donation. I really appreciate it. We're going to be looking at a gold Soraka game today. If you're new to the channel, you can always find this Google Doc in the description as well as timestamps if you just want to jump to the game itself or to the post game. And first off, we're going to go over maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the pregame. We'll talk about Soraka, the changes that I think are coming in patch 8.2, which is happening in a couple of days. We'll watch the game itself. I'll take a lot of physical notes, and at the very end, we'll come up with the top 5 to 10 things that I think Jenny can do to really improve her game. If you would like a coaching session yourself, it's easy to set up. It's just a $20 donation. You can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I can tell you how to send me the replay, and I'll make a video just like this for you. So if you're interested, don't hesitate. Give me an email. We can set that up. If you want to watch more videos, you don't have the $20, but you want to learn more through watching other people in their coaching sessions, you can find a playlist right here. I think this is going to be my 84th coaching video, so ton of content out there. If you want to know some in-depth guides, I did just come up with a Season 8 Soraka guide, I guess a couple of weeks ago. It's still going to be very relevant, even though it's been a couple of patches, so be sure to check that out right here at this link, as well as a bunch of other champions. I think I have at least 10 guides, if not more, probably closer to 15 on the channel, and I'm constantly adding more, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. So, as usual, you want to aim for at least 1 control ward per 5 minutes on average, so 30-minute game, you want 6 control wards. It's really important to make sure that you're using control wards to deny enemy vision, as well as to generate vision for yourself on the map. So make sure that you are actively replacing control wards to shut out vision. And you want to have 1 normal ward per minute if you're taking zombie wards, which I think you are in this game. Then you want to have twice that number. So 30-minute game, you want to have 60 wards if you're running zombie wards. And I still do recommend zombie wards for now in 8.2. I'll have to try it out to see. It might be possible that Inspiration is going to be a better bargain, where you would want to take something like Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight, or Magical Footwear and Biscuits. But we'll see. For right now, I think Zombie Ward's still going to be the place to be. Ingenious Hunter is still great, even though they're removing Ruby Sightstone. You're still going to get 40% active item cooldowns, and you're going to be getting those active items anyways. Like, you're almost every game, you're going to get some combination of Redemption, Mikhail's, and Locket. So it's still really good, even without the Ruby Sightstone. So I highly recommend that. And then Zombie Ward is just... So Ingenious is really, really good in the mid to late game, and then Zombie is still a really good combo because when you're sweeping more stuff with your sweeper, because don't forget, I know Jenny knows this, but other people out there often forget that Ingenious also affects your sweeper time. So you get to sweep a lot more, clear more wards, and when you clear more wards, you get more zombie wards, and those two feed into each other. Okay. Other runes that I recommend: Guardian, Font of Life, Conditioning, Revitalize. I think that the sorcery tree has been nerfed so much. It's been nerfed like 5 different times. They nerfed the base AP on it. They nerfed Airy. They nerfed Mana Flow Ban. They nerfed Celerity. They nerfed Scorch. They've nerfed so many things about it that I really think you should be taking Guardian as Soraka. I think you should be taking Guardian as almost anybody. Now, they are changing Guardian in patch 8.2. Let's see here. Here we go. So this is what they're proposing to change. Now, I haven't seen the official patch notes yet. They don't come out until tomorrow. But it's going to have a longer cooldown in lane, so, you know, that kind of sucks. But it's a bigger shield later in the game. Actually, it's kind of the same at the end game, but sort of in the mid game, it's going to be a bit bigger. It has a larger AP ratio, and it has a larger bonus health ratio. So it is going to be, it is going to scale really well, especially with AP, which is great, because you're going to get some AP. Not a ton as Soraka, but if you get like Ardent Sensor at some point, that will give you a little bit of AP scaling there. And you do get some AP from going Resolve Tree into Domination. You'll pick up a little bit of AP every now and then. If you choose to go Eye of the Watchers, you'll get some AP there. So it's a little bit better scaling on that. So I still think it's the place to be, though. Airy will give you some better healing late game, but you're going to be very, very squishy. Don't forget the Guardian Tree itself gives you 65 health, which is massive on Soraka because she has such a low base health. So I think that's just the place to go. Also, you get Font of Life, which is really good with your Q. People are going to get all of that extra bonus healing off of that. Whenever you slow people with your Q, they attack them. It's going to help people trigger the Ardent Sensor if you get that on your entire squad, which is nice. So that's really good. Conditioning gives you some resistances. Soraka has a huge bullseye on her head. People always want to kill you. So getting that extra armor and magic resist is a pretty big deal. And then, of course, Revitalize is great. Gives you a minimum of extra 5% plus healing and shielding, and it can be up to 15% bonus healing and shielding. It's even better than that. I talk about that in my Soraka guide, but Revitalize is even better than that because it's 10%. It's not the stat plus healing and shielding, but it's 10% extra plus healing and shielding. So it actually stacks multiplicatively and not additively with other plus healing and shielding that you have. So that basically means it's even better than it seems. But that's an extra potentially 15% healing to your allies. So it's a really, really good tree, and I would prefer that over things like Scorch. It's okay early game, obviously, but it's been nerfed a lot. Celerity, the movement speed is good, but, you know, once again, it's okay. It doesn't give you any survivability. Mana flow ban's alright, but Soraka already has really cheap spells. Like, mana is not usually a problem, especially if you get Fairy Charms early, which you should, because I recommend that you should get Redemption as your first item most of the time. And then Aery's nice. I mean, there's no getting around it. Aery is good, but I think Guardian's pretty good too. Aery might be slightly better than Guardian, but everything else in the Resolve tree and just getting that extra health early on, I think is much more important. And you're not going to be able to get that stuff any other way if you go for... if you want to go for Zombie Ward and Ingenious Hunter, you're not going to be able to get it any other way. So, like, you could say, well, you could go Sorcery, and then you can get Font of Life and Revitalize as your secondaries. That's true, but then you're giving up Ingenious and Zombie, which is a tough call. So, I personally think that's the best way that you should build Soraka right now. That health is actually going to be key as well if you want to go for the Warmogs build, which, let's talk about that really quickly. So, the builds you can go, and this is 8.2, you go the Frostfang build into Redemption. And Soraka is very flexible in her build. So I think you should almost always get Redemption first just because that has global presence. You can throw that up to 5,500 units away, which is really powerful for a Fiesta type of meta, which we're in right now. So it's really nice. And then after that, it's kind of up to you. Like, Locket is kind of the standard teamfight item that you get after Redemption, so you have both, like, huge buffs for team fights. Mikhail's is another option that's really nice if they have a lot of crowd control. So if they have an Ashe or a Thresh, a Sejuani Aegis, something that's going to be locking up a key target, then Mikhail's does help you out with that. And Soraka scales very, very well with the plus healing and shielding off of Mikhail's. So that's a good option. Ardent Censor's another option. If your 80 carries really far ahead, you could get Ardent Censor second. I still wouldn't recommend getting it first. It's okay, but it really needs a couple of levels under its belt before it really starts kicking in. So that's a decent third item after Redemption if you want. Another build, though, that I kind of like on Soraka in the late game, at least I did like it on Soraka, and I'm not sure if it's still viable, but I want to kind of walk you through the option here of how you would go about getting a Warmog on the newest patch. Now, Warmogs is uniquely very powerful on Soraka because it heals you just an insane amount when you're out of combat. And that's really important because Soraka obviously uses a lot of health to heal people, and she doesn't have to be in combat. So when you're trying to siege, it just makes it to where you almost have infinite healing, because the mana cost on your heal is extremely low, and the thing that really gates how much you can heal is your health most of the time. You're healing for 200 for 70 mana, which is a lot. That's like a 3-to-1 ratio on healing. And so that's really nice. And you're going to be getting a lot of mana regen from Redemption anyway. So usually it's your health that stops you from healing people, not your mana. And so having that Warmogs gives you just a ton of extra healing. So it's a really nice item. It doesn't add to your plus healing and shielding per se, but it allows you to, in sustained engagements, or for rotations or sieging, just big drawn-out conflicts, you're going to be able to heal for a lot more. It also gives you some protection against burst. I know there's a common myth out there that I've heard in some other videos that talk about Soraka that say, well, it's bad to stack health on Soraka because your W is a percentage of health, and so it's not actually doing you any favors, right? So if you have, 1,000 health and you heal somebody, it's going to charge you, 100 of your health, 10% of your maximum health. If you have 3,000, it's going to charge you 300 of your health. So that seems like that's really counterintuitive, but you have to keep in mind that you don't exist in a vacuum. People are going to hit you also. And so, especially if you're Soraka, people are going to hit you a lot, or they're going to try to. And so, having that extra health protects you from getting blown up. So, if you have 3,000 health, it's a lot harder for that Lux laser to kill you, or it's a lot harder for Zed to all in and kill you. If you have like Ninja Tabi plus Locket plus Warmogs, makes it a lot harder. Also, the extra health off of this scales well with Guardian itself, so you get a bigger shield on Guardian, and it scales with Locket of the Iron Solari to give you much bigger shields on your Locket. So it does have some synergy with the rest of your kit, in addition to helping you survive, in addition to giving you virtually, infinite healing. And drawn out engagement. So I think it is definitely an item worth considering. It's not necessarily something that you want every game, but if they do have assassins, you're worried that you might get blown up, or you're worried that fights are just going to take a long time, like both teams just have a ton of tanks, then this is a decent option. Now, how you used to be able to get this pretty easily by just going Redemption, Ruby Sightstone, and then, somewhere down the line, if you wanted to buy this, you could buy it around level 11 or 12. So you could go straight to this after Redemption if you wanted to, if it was a low gold game, or you could get something like Locket and then get Warmogs. So you could go Redemption, Locket, Warmogs. But that build has changed now because they've removed Redemption, or they've removed Ruby Sightstone from the game, which sucks for Soraka because she has a lot of actives. As I said, a lot of times she's going to have Redemption, often Locket, often Mikhail's. So there's anywhere from 2 to 3 active items. So she really, really liked Ruby Sightstone. But unfortunately, we're just not going to have that anymore. And that also hurts because you're not going to have as much health to meet the threshold. If you don't get to 2750 health, this item is worthless. Do not ever get this item if you're not going to be at the 2750 threshold. So the question then becomes, well, how do we get to this 2750 threshold? Because if we do some math here, if we look at Soraka's base stats, at level 9, she's going to have 1,054 health. So if you think, okay, we'll round it up to 1,055. You say, okay, level 9, 1,055 health. Then I add on Redemption, so that's 200. Add on the 65 health from, I always want to call it the Guardian Tree. Resolve Tree. Add on 65 from the Resolve Tree. Then you add on the 800 from Warmogs. You're not really close, right? So you're only getting to 2120. And there's not going to be a lot of other sort of health items that you're going to be getting out there, right? I think I got all that right. So what is it? So just double check it here. 1055 plus 65 plus 200 from Redemption. Oh, you're going to get 200 from your, if you decide to go Eye of the Watchers as well. So that'd be another plus 200. Then plus 800. So you're still going to be short. You're only going to be at 2320. You need 27. So you need about 400 more health. So that means, what's this, 1054? So we're looking for 1400 health. Roughly. Okay, that's probably ballpark. So you can get it naturally that way at level 14 or so. It's either 14 or 15. I have to go back through and do the precise math, which I won't bore you right now with all those details. But right now, it's looking like level 14 or 15 that you could get this instead of 11 or 12, which is really bad because a lot of times the game's going to be over late. Because as a support, you're just not going to be gaining that many levels. Now, so that build becomes a lot less viable at level 14 or 15. Now, something else that I want to mention here, though, is the change to the quest items. I'm going to have a whole video about this, and I haven't quite mathed it all out yet to figure out everything that's optimal. But I think that getting Targons on Soraka after the change may not necessarily be completely awful. And if we look at the cost on Targons and these other items, so they have it here. The new Targon's here, which is Eye of Aspect, is actually very gold efficient now that they reduced the cost. It's 115% gold efficient now. And it gives you pretty good stats for Soraka, so it gives you that coveted 500 health. Now, this is the really important thing for this build if you want Warmogs. This is going to match the old Ruby Sightstone build. And so that means that you're going to be able to, if you go the upgraded Eye of the Aspect into Redemption, you can get Warmogs as a third item, as early as third if you want. At level 10, you'll have enough health to trigger it. Okay? And that's because you're going Guardian as well. If you don't go Guardian, if you don't go the Resolve Tree, you're going to have to wait till level 11. But that would allow you, level 10, to get that Warmogs, and, get a lot of the health going. Now, this also does give you health regen in lane, which is really nice, as you upgrade this. So, and it's going to heal your 80 carry even more, as Relic Shield does right now. Now, one of the main things that, people would say about this is, well, Soraka, she's ranged, so she's not going to have an easy way to trigger this. But you have to remember that her Star Call, you're going to get 1 or 2, like 2 or 3 usually points of this in lane. It's very, very good wave clear. So especially if you go for 3 points of this in lane, it's 150 damage. You can very easily kill that backline of minions and trigger the health on this. And it's going to give you a lot more health as the game progresses, because you're going to be able to use that Star Call to clear minion waves and trigger this, potentially. I would argue you're going to be able to get a lot more triggers off of going the Targon's build late game. You're going to be able to get more gold off of that than you would off of the Spell Thieves, because you're not going to be able to walk up and hit allies that much, or hit enemies that much, except in team fights. And so you're going to be sitting there on max charges of your Eye of the Watchers, or whatever it's going to be whatever it's going to be renamed as. You're not going to be able to go up and do that late game. So it's going to give you a lot less gold, whereas you're almost always going to be around minion waves, and you can sneak in and kill a couple of minions, with your Star Call, because it has such good wave clear later on, especially those backline caster minions. So I think this is going to give you a lot more gold in the long run if you do that. Now, once again, you're giving up a little bit of pressure if you don't have Frostfang. So you're losing the AP, you're losing some base mana regen, which this doesn't matter because you're going to get Fairy Charms anyways, and Soraka doesn't have mana problems. So that's not really a huge issue. The ability power is obviously very good on Soraka. Now, obviously, it's for her harassment in lane, it doesn't do that much, though. It only gives you a 0.35, so it doesn't add that much to your harass in lane. She does have a 0.6 on her W, so that's pretty decent for healing. Not amazing, though. It's only a 0.6. Eye of the Equinox, only a 0.4. Her ult, only a 0.55. So she doesn't have amazing AP ratios, especially on her major harassment, which is this. So it's not like your, Sona or something, where you have like a 1.0 ratio on your Q if it hits 2 targets. So it's okay, but if any sort of early game champion could give up losing a little AP, it's probably Soraka. Okay, because the health is going to be much more important in the lane too. So Relic Shield is going to give you that health regen so that you can heal more in lane, so that you can take a bit more harassment off of these trades. Now this does have a 0.4 as well of the healing on it, so it's okay. Now this does give you the on-hit damage. The 18 bonus magic damage is important. It is nice. Okay, so that's a good thing. But I'm just saying, one of the main reasons that Frostfang is so good right now is this quest item, where you get this 50% bonus movement speed for up to 3 seconds if you have 3 charges, because the stacks extend the duration. That doesn't exist anymore on the new item. They're getting rid of that for wards, so don't forget that. That is not going to be there anymore. They're changing all of it to stealth wards. So everybody's going to have stealth wards. So that makes, this item a lot more appealing, because you're not losing that extra, free ghost in a team fight to help kite people. And if you look at, let's see, we have Eye of Ascension here. They're just now putting these things up. This one is pure garbage. This one's so bad. It's only 78% efficient. That's really bad now. So keep in mind, this one's very efficient. This one's 115, and I'm pretty sure that The Frostfang version, yeah, here we go. Remnant of the Watchers. Is only 100%. So it's going to be a little bit less efficient. Yeah. So there it is. And you are losing 35 ability power. So in the mid-game, you're basically trading 35 ability power and some mana regen for a lot of base health regen. How much is this ability power worth? Let me see. Okay, so it's worth about 761 gold worth of ability power. So you're getting about 30 more gold worth of power. So you're just getting health for that gold value instead of ability power for that gold value. And so, you know, you have to decide whether or not you think that's going to be worth it or not. Like, that's what it comes down to. Would you rather have 35 ability power or 300 health as Soraka in the late game? And more gold, as I argued. I mean, that's debatable whether you're going to get more gold, but I still think that farming your own minions with Qs late game is going to generate more gold than trying to auto-attack enemies late game, because there's just going to be more opportunities to farm minions most of the time. So, because Soraka doesn't have super long ranges on her abilities, and it's really dangerous to try to run up and Q people, you know, when everybody's level 15 and like one crowd control on you can kill you and potentially throw a whole game. Base mana regen doesn't matter. Now remember, you get 200% base health regen off of that, and that's usually garbage on most champions off of the Remnant of the Aspect. That's usually garbage on most champions. That's actually really good on Soraka, though, because she uses her health, remember. And I think, does Mikhail still... I can't remember if Mikhail still turns health regen into mana regen or not. They used to do something like that. But I think maybe they changed that. Harmony. Okay, you gain 25% base health regen for every 25% base mana regen. Okay, so it doesn't go the other way around. But anyways, so I think that's a reasonable build. You know, I'd have to go all the way through it with some math, and I'm going to do that in like a future video, but just giving you a preview here of 8.2 before I do that video, before I math everything out and sort of look at all the optimal itemization. I think that's definitely an option that's legit for Soraka now, is to just go Targons, because it's the best bargain. It gives you the health. It's going to let you get the Warmogs if you want it. It's going to be on the table as your third or fourth item, and it's going to scale really well with Locket. It's going to give you survivability, and it's going to give you extra health in the lane so that you can heal people and just stay in lane longer without having to leave. So it does give up a little bit of harassment early on. I personally think it's probably worth it, though. So I would at least try it out, see how it feels, see what you think. But I think this might be kind of the new thing that's going on. Okay, so in lane, you're going to want 2 to 3 points in Q. If you're going for the Targon build, I would highly recommend probably 3 points to make sure you can last hit some of those minions. Then you switch over to your W for the mid game, and you want to max your W, Q, and E. You do this, Soraka has great harass in lane, but you want to make sure you have that W for the big team fights in the mid game, so that you have those huge heals. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Sorry that post-game took a bit longer or the pre-game than I thought, but there's a lot of changes to Soraka because of the removal of Ruby Sightstone and how integral that was to her build with Warmog. So I just wanted to go over some of those options for you there. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Okay, I really like the matchup. Yeah, this is a good place to play Soraka. Soraka's great into Braum, just completely crushes him. He doesn't have a great way to get on you. You have like 1.5 tanks, which is pretty good. Yeah, Shaco's really the only major thing to worry about, so you're going to want to get Ninja Tabi this game, probably. Make sure he doesn't blow you up. But otherwise, this is a good comp to pick Soraka into, I think. You're probably going to want Mikhail's pretty early here. Now keep in mind, this is recorded on patch 8.1, so that build I was talking about is going to be something that I think is viable in like 2 days, but not like right now. So don't do this. If you watch this video today, don't do it tomorrow. You got to wait until 8.2 for that. But yeah, I would get a Mikhail's pretty quick here. Oh man, there's the cheese. Throw some Qs on him. There you go. Throw an exhaust or something. Oh, you did exhaust. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, good turnaround. Yeah, they were fighting in your minions. I like it. Good. Yeah, I thought you handled that well. I would maybe, like, once you get over here, like, maybe don't run that far. I don't mind you flashing out. But once you flash out, just try to throw Qs and autos as much as you can and just try to, you know, stay in there. I thought she was dead, too. I'm really surprised she turned around. I think just all of those minions just murdered him. Yeah, I would go Spell Thieves right now on Soraka. On patch 8.1. The reason is, you have a lot of really good harass early on with your Q and autos, so you can constantly trigger it. And getting that quest where you can run like 50% faster for a certain number of seconds, depending on how many charges you have, that's really, really good for kiting. So that can help you get away from Shaco later, so. I wouldn't go coin unless it's just 100% a farm off lane and you're not going to be able to do anything. So maybe if you're against like a Sona or something, you could consider it, but we haven't seen Shaco yet, I don't think. So be a little careful. He could show up. They know you don't have summoners bottom. Okay, he's middle. And he's dead. Okay, so you're free to harass more. Don't forget to land some autos in there. Q him. Land autos. Auto. 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 That was a good block. That was pretty good. I want to see you land more autos, though, if they are focusing on her. Just as you're walking back, just throw some autos in there every now and then. But yeah, it was pretty good. Alright, what do you have? So yeah, I would prefer, like, not coin here. I get coin on Rakan, if you're wondering, and the reason why I do that is because he doesn't have very good harass. His auto attack range is very short, and his Q is on a long cooldown and is relatively difficult to hit. It's got such a slender hitbox and a deceptively short range. 2 control wards is a bit excessive. I don't mind 1. I would do like 1 and a biscuit. I think you waited in base like a little too long too. I don't know if you were like talking to somebody or something or what. Or like reading a text or something, but I feel like you're in base for a little too long there. You want to get back as fast as you can so that your AD carry is not sitting alone in the lane. Also, you don't want to fall behind in experience. So, yeah. I assume you're probably just doing something. But yeah, you want to try to focus up as much as you can, obviously. But I know that stuff happens. Sometimes you gotta... Someone's talking in the other room, or someone sent you an important text message or something, but... No, they haven't bought yet, so you guys can get very aggressive. Braum has no mana either. I want you to push him in and be really aggressive here. Just be careful of Shaco, but I want you to push. You have your exhaust back. They're really low. They have no resources. Like, he has no mana right now. Now, he's acting like Shaco's here, though, so you need to be a little careful. He's posturing very aggressively. Shaco's middle. He's just crazy. Auto attack him. Now, they are a higher level. Like, he is level 5, so that's definitely something to consider, but... And a lot of that was because you're a little late to lane, right? So, Misfortune's 4, but you're 3. So, 3 is a huge gap. No, don't let him back. You guys, you really needed to push this further and just force them to miss if they back. You want to punish them for backing. Now they're going to get there fast enough. Be careful, mid's missing. I would still push this in. Yeah, just control ward like this bush. I would use your control ward on this bush. I guess you already have one in this bush. That's fine. But they're going to be pretty far ahead of you. Okay, Shaco's right there. So you need to ping that or tell your team that Shaco's there. Okay, well, you got him to miss a couple of minions, but you should have kept pushing as safe as you could. I mean, you were down levels, but because Brahm's out of mana and you know she's probably saving up for a BF sword, there's Shaco, you need to leave. Like, the only reason she would stay like that is because she wants a BF sword. And so you want to make her pay. Like, if you keep them pushed in, they can't ever back. Then that sort of neutralizes their advantage. Because they don't have an advantage over you if they can't go back and spend their gold. So it was a little dangerous because Shaco was missing, but definitely as soon as you saw him middle there, I would have pushed. And Soraka does push very well. You can just Q this back line a couple of times. But yeah, because they got this free back, now they are very far ahead. Because it's a BF sword to longsword, so you really can't fight them at this point. And they're going to get to bully you around. Whoa, what was that fight? I guess that was an accident? Yeah, you guys can't fight. Yeah, you got to ping and tell them that. Because she may not notice that, right? So you got to tab and look. Every time the enemy comes back to lane, you have to tab and check their items. Shaco's right here. You need to watch out. You're about to get... I have a feeling something bad's going to happen here. Everybody's low. Like, Ashe could pop 6 at any moment. Yeah, just... I would just ping them back and just get out of there. You're probably dead now. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So I'm just writing down, don't let the enemy buy if you have the advantage. When you came back and you had a longsword and she only had a Doran's Blade, and Braum was like out of mana and half health, that's when you guys should be pressuring. They were up some levels, so, you know, you don't want to probably outright fight them, but at least try to push them in a tower, I think, would have been a wise plan. It is a little scary when you don't have flash against Shaco, but something you want to do. She's probably dead again here. Okay, that was good. Oh, he just flashed. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, I want you to push this in and go grab Dragon. Rise is top. Push this in, go ping Dragon. Do it. You need to queue this. Like, walk over here and queue this. Like, you should immediately, like, queue that backline once or twice. Ping Dragon. Then as you're on your way to Dragon, Shaco's middle. As you're on your way to Dragon, then ward. Yeah. Do it with him. No, you can ward later. It's most important to get this dragon, because now he's going to see you here, and he's probably going to jump you. That's going to make your deer, like, come off the dragon to save you. He's going to chase Shaco for a little bit. Shaco's probably going to get away. Okay, you guys did get Shaco. I don't think that was entirely necessary. It's going to be a lot harder to do this dragon. I don't know. I guess you can zone him off. Okay, that's a good zone. Yeah, I mean, it worked out, but that was a little sketchy. Like, you want to make that more crisp. You want to say push. Like, push and then ping this a lot. And you need to, like, have everybody push this in and then rotate over there. You guys probably could have started that 15 seconds faster than you did. And your deer would have had his smite. He used his smite on the Shaco. So it did end up even better for you because you got a Shaco kill and the dragon, but I think it was a lot riskier. And it was a lot slower. Because now you're a lot slower on your back. And that means they're probably going to get this tower. So because you guys did dragon and you were really slow about it, Braum and Ash got to run back to lane. Whereas if you had done it immediately, they still would have been dead or like really close to it, like in their base. You could have done dragon, backed, and then back to the lane before they had this wave pushed up. But because you delayed it so much, they got to push the wave in and get the tower. So basically, like, the delay, like, you walking over here to try to clear this ward and set up these wards pretty much gave them a tower. Indirectly. That's what started the chain of events. Because that forced... First of all, you're not hitting the dragon, and you're not healing your deer, so that's slower. And then your deer had to come up here to save you, and he had to use his smite and run around and chase Shaco for a little bit, and then come back and do it. And that bought these guys enough time to do enough damage to poke you out where you had to back and then get the tower. So that's why it's really important to be very crisp with your timings and do things as fast as possible so that the enemy doesn't have counterplay. Alright. So you know Shaco's down here. You can't really get a lot of great wards, but he could be anywhere in your jungle. There aren't any camps, though, so... What do you have? What is this going to be? Oh, Redemption. Okay. Okay, that's good. Wait, where did you flash? You just flash in place? Yeah. I guess you just pressed the wrong button or something. Or you're lagging. But yeah, be a little careful with the flash. I think this is twice where you've had some kind of questionable flashes that looked like they could have been misclicks or like lag or something. You do seem to have like these random moments where you just kind of stop for a little bit. So maybe it's lag, I don't know. Okay, Shaco's middle. This is your chance to go ward. So I would just place some defensive wards, like just ward here and just like ward over here or something. Like maybe here. No, you... Well, I guess this is an okay spot if you think they're going to pink this. And you're afraid you can't protect it. I guess that's alright. I would just ward here. It's too dangerous with Ryze running around. Yeah, just ward here. Y'all are probably walking into something bad. Ward here then. Yeah. Since they're helping you get a deeper position, you can get this ward. You couldn't do it by yourself, but because they're all here, you can afford to do that. No, don't Q harass him. It's too dangerous. You don't have any mana. Like, you really don't want to walk up and try to Q harass people outside of lane. It's just not going to do enough, and it's going to put you at risk. Like, if he W'd you there and Braum jumped on him and then Q'd you, like, you probably would have been dead. And it's just not worth doing, like, you know, 100 damage to somebody at this point. Yeah, I would just drop as many heals as you can on somebody and then just back. Just heal Misfortune a couple of times, just, like, double healer and then just back up. You're not going to do anything here. Like, you don't have any mana regen, hardly. You have one Fairy Charm. They're going to get this tower. You're not really doing anything productive right now. because you're not going to contribute anything. You know what I'm saying? So you should just drop your heals on somebody. Yeah, just heal her twice and then just back. Like, they might get the tower anyways, but at least now you would be back with like fresh wards and a full mana bar to help defend the second tower. But sometimes you just got to let it go. Complete Oasis. No, I don't. I mean, I know it is getting kind of Fiesta-y. I really don't like Mobies. I mean, Mobies are like okay on Soraka, I guess, but I really feel like you need some defense. Like, you're going to need Ninja at some point, or Shaco's just going to one-shot you. Okay, that was good. I don't know about the Ruby this early. I would have probably just completed Eye of the Oasis and then just got Redemption on this patch. And then later on, switch to Ruby if you want to. But I think since you're going to have to get Mikhail's anyways against the Ash Arrow, I don't think you're going to be able to... I don't think you need to go Warmogs this game. I think it's a Redemption Mikhail's kind of game. Like Redemption Mikhail's Locket sort of game. Sorry, I don't know what's up with that. Turn that off. Okay, so Katarina and your deer are getting pretty big. Yeah, go ahead and grab this. Just ward that, ward that. Yeah, I'd rather see you just get the 4 wards early with Oasis here and run like Ninja Tabi boots. I mean, the extra movement speed is nice, but the thing is, in combat, people are going to be chasing you around, and you're not going to have much movement speed in combat. And like your roam, like when you just roll up as Soraka, you know, it's not you're not going to be making huge plays most of the time. And I'm just afraid that Shaco's going to one-shot you at some point. So yeah, especially if you're not going to get Warmogs, which, like I said, I probably wouldn't in this game. It's because you're going to need Mikhail's, then you want that extra defense from Ninja Tabi. Ult somewhere in here, probably. Go ahead and ult. Yeah, you could have at least had 2 or 3 assists on that if you ulted. But yeah, using your ult somewhere, either before the first person died or in that last little skirmish, I would have done it. Don't waste it now, but, well, maybe. If she gets stunned. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just get middle, ping middle, or bottom. Bottom. Get it. There's nothing else for them to do on the map. You have no other waves. Yeah, you guys could have gotten that right there. That's a missed opportunity. There's a huge wave crashing into that. There's no dragon. They can't do Baron this early. You know that 2 or 3 of them just had to back. Instead, you split up and they're picking you off. Rai's going to kill her. If he just opened with a W instead of a Q, he would have had her. Watch out, Shaco's going to get her. Try to go up there and help her. There you go. Yeah, y'all should have rotated bottom immediately. After you make them run, you have to ping this. Ping. Because that's the closest objective. After you kill somebody or force them back, That's almost as good as a kill if you just make it back. You don't get the gold, but you do get the map advantage. And you have to do something with it. Yeah, I don't mind doing this, but you better be very quick about it. Alright, and key that. And that's it. Now you gotta run. Gotta run. They're all about to fight top. No, no, no. One wave, and that's it. Yeah, I think they're all gonna get murdered. Yeah, you need to communicate to your team and say, don't fight. I'm clearing this, and then you can get like one wave, and then you have to run up there. Because Soraka just does not... and you needed... Did you have ult the whole time? Or is it down? Okay, it was down. Fair enough. But you need to communicate that, and you need to be very quick, because you don't split push that well, and you're such a huge like component of team fights. Like, you really can make or break fights as Soraka if you just stay alive in a fight. It makes it very hard for the enemy to kill anyone. So yeah, that's not really worth... Like, I like the idea that you're thinking in this tower, but the time to do it was when you had 4 people right here after you ran them all back. Because now they could actually be a threat and go for Baron if they wanted to. They're not doing it, but they could potentially do it. I mean, Garen has enough armor probably to do it at this point. Braub does too. Okay, but instead they just decided to chase you around, so... Fortunately, they have pretty poor macro. Okay, so you do want to get towers, but you need to be careful split pushing a Soraka. Because you just don't do it that fast. It's just not her thing. You do have decent wave clear, but your team fight contributions are just so much. And you're not very mobile. So you can't get back to the fight. Okay, it's kind of a waste, but y'all got it. How many are dead? 2? 3? Yeah, just get tower. Don't risk a Baron with Shaco still up. Okay, that was a good silence. She might be dead. She doesn't have any mana. I feel like that's warded. Yeah. I guess they just knew she was up there, so they didn't have wards, but I didn't see the whole scene up there. Be careful. You see them positioning around Baron. I don't mind dropping a... You need to move back up towards your team. They're all around Baron right now. Shin has his ult. Once again, they're probably not going to do Baron, but they could, like, at least shut out all your vision and, like, really scare you. So, yeah, that is... Oh dear, got it. Alright, drop a redemption in here when you're in range. Like, look for a redemption place. Yeah, just go ahead and... Well, where are you going? Run up middle, run up middle. Get over here to these guys. Where are you going? Nah, you need to be with your team a lot more. It's like the third or the fourth fight where you haven't really been around. I know you're like, you want to get some vision up here probably. Like, it is good to clear vision, and you're going to rotate up here and get this tower, which is good, but... I mean, that's fine, but I would still, like, just get with your team over here. Like, you're counting on them a little too much to, like, not get caught and killed. So unless you have teleport or some other kind of global, I mean, you do have your heal, but... Speaking of which, look... You should probably go ahead and use it. Go ahead and heal. I mean, it worked out okay, but I think you should have been with your team when they were over here. Like, you need to time your backs a little bit better so that you're not backing when your team is about to contest a major objective. And then just rotate and be closer to your team so that you can use your ult and your redemption and just your normal heals. Looks like you're going Locket. I would probably go Mikhail's. Just to nullify that Ash Arrow. And or a Rise W. Like, they have a lot of pretty scary CC opportunities. Y'all need to not do that. Don't. Ping him back. Ping him back. They actually all ran away from you, which is pretty funny. I guess they just expected everyone else was going to be here because they must not have any vision. This is like the blind leading the blind. Yeah, this Katarina's massive. Just play around Cat. You'll probably win. Your deer's pretty big too. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Stay with them. Like, warding is good. I think this was something else we saw in, if I'm remembering correctly, from the Zyra video too. Like, you do a pretty good job of highly prioritizing vision, but if your team's about to fight, you need to try to, like, be near the team, you know? Even if it means you're delaying your wards a little bit. Yeah, just leave. Just leave. Y'all aren't going to get it. Just leave. Leave. You need to just back. Just go back, get some fresh wards. Just drop all the wards you have here. Like, drop a ward here, drop your control ward up here, and then just go get some more. It's a little on the dangerous side. I would drop a control ward here and push this wave up. Maybe threaten the tier 2. I wouldn't do Baron right now. Like, you'll probably get it, but the thing is, like, Shaco, you don't have good vision through here. Shaco could come rolling up and just steal it. I just wouldn't risk the game on a Shaco steal. Okay, well, y'all got it. He's up there just hanging out in his base. I probably would have just pushed this up and got this tower. Then after you have pressure applied in this lane and middle lane and you have really good vision in here, then you could consider it, but it worked out. I mean, he is 2 levels under Udyr. One thing I've learned from a million games of solo queue, just do not ever smite fight. Don't do it. If the enemy's going to have a chance to go in there and smite, it's really, honestly, it's just a 50-50 most of the time. If someone jumps over that pit. And you just don't want it to come down to that. You don't need it. Like, you guys are so far ahead right now. You're 10,000 gold ahead. Like, why risk it on something like that? That can just be very demoralizing for your team, too. Y'all need to push another lane. This one's already pushed. I don't think y'all are going to just walk it through. I mean, maybe if she just kills everybody, sure. Okay, good running, good running. Alright, well, I guess you just win. Katarina's just too fed to control, so... Yeah, there you go. Good silence. I don't know about Talisman. Talisman does help you kite a little bit, but... That's an alright build. That's an alright build. It does give you armor against the Shaco, too. That's pretty legit. Alright. So overall, good game, good game. I think sort of near the beginning, I'm just writing, don't get baited by allies. That happened that one time when you were kind of playing Ring Around the Rosie, and you got caught out around that Dragon Pit area kind of early in the game. Okay, let's talk about these real quick. Okay, so, So number one is don't let the enemy back for free if you have the lane advantage. So when you came back with Misfortune, she had a longsword, I believe. She had a longsword and maybe boots and a Doran's Blade. And Ashe just had a Doran's Blade because she was being really greedy and waiting on her BF sword. Braum had like 10% mana and half health. And Ashe had no potions left. And I think y'all should have pressured. You were down flashes, and you didn't have good eyes on Shaco, but I would just push the minions into the tower and just back up to about the middle of the lane and just keep pushing them in the tower over and over and over again. So that way, if she ever backs, she's going to miss a full minion wave. And a lot of 80 carries will be really greedy about that, and they just won't back. And so what that'll end up doing if she doesn't back at that point, because she just got a kill. So if she comes back with a BF sword, they're going to dominate the lane, which is what happened. So if you can delay that long enough by just continually pushing them into tower with your Q, all you have to do is just Q the back caster minions twice, and they'll be at like one hit for your 80 carry. You just keep pushing it in. Then she's just going to keep staying. And then eventually, yeah, she'll get a BF sword and maybe like a pick, but at that point, your Misfortune will also be able to catch up in gold. So if right there, you know... Let's say Misfortune had a total of 1,000 gold, and Ashe, when she backs, has a total of 1,500 gold. If people keep farming the same way, no one else dies, and everything just remains neutral, then the difference between 1,500 and 1,000 is about a third extra gold that Ashe has up on you. But if that extends to, you know, 3,500 versus 3,000, then all of a sudden that's only 17% extra gold. So yes, it's the same number, it's still 500 gold advantage, but proportionally it's a lot less. And so she's going to have a much smaller power spike because it's only going to be 17% more power in terms of gold versus, you know, the 33% that she's going to have if you let her back that early. So right there, you want to try to delay her from backing as much as possible because you know she's going to come back with much better items. And then she's going to be able to bully you out, which is exactly what happened. So, like I said, it's a little scary because you don't have Flash. They have Shaco. You don't know where he is. But I think you can push without overextending into the tower. And that should be fine. At this elo, they're not going to freeze it out on you, most likely. They're just going to let it crash into the tower. If they freeze you out, you know, that could be an issue. But once again, if they're trying to freeze it and... Sadie, no. No, get down. Get down. I love you, but not right now. We'll do that in a minute. No, just chill over here. But if they try to freeze you out, then they can't ever back, or you just push it in and they miss a ton of CS. or you could get your jungler to come down and dive them or something. So I don't think they had a really good option to freeze you. But either way, if you have that kind of advantage, just do not let them back. If at all you can help it, just do it as safely as you can, but don't let them back. Okay, what's okay, be more decisive. Be more decisive and quicker with your shot calling. So, like, make the call faster with the pings, and then go over there and do the call faster. So what I'm mainly thinking of here is the dragon, where you could have done that dragon really quickly, and then after you finish the dragon, you can put a couple of extra wards down, but instead, you try to do the wards first, like deeper wards, and contest a control ward, and that bought Shaco time to come over and threaten you, and then Udyr had to go off the dragon, he had to use his smite, and so it created a really dangerous situation where they could have potentially stolen it. You did get it, but Udyr was really injured in the process, and you had to back as well, and that basically gave him a free tower bot. So instead of just getting a free dragon, you ended up trading the dragon for the bot tower, and obviously that's not as good of a trade. So you have to think, you just have to get the objective as fast as you can, and then get back to lane as fast as you can. It's usually a good idea to get back to lane quickly. And that's something that happened several times, and like I said, I'm not sure, it seemed like you might be lagging, or like talking to somebody in the room, or just something, because there were some time, or maybe like you were typing to somebody, like maybe someone in the game was saying something to you, I don't know. But it seemed like you were in the fountain for a long time at one point, and then also it just seemed like you were kind of like just AFK or out of it in the laning phase at one point. You might have been typing in the ADC, I'm not really sure. Or just, like I said, you could have been texting somebody, or I don't know. But just try as much as you can to focus up, you know, whenever you play ranked, to just make sure there's not as many distractions as possible. It happens to me all the time, obviously, when I'm streaming. Sometimes I'm looking down and, I make a mistake because I'm, like, reading chat or something. So I know it happens to the best of us out there. But do as much as you can to focus up and just be as fast as possible in the shop. Like, when you're backing, just know what you want to buy and buy it and go. And I know I'm bad about this sometimes, too, because I'll just, like, sort of change my mind really quickly, trying to do the quick math in my head for like the most efficient buy. Just have an idea of what you want to buy and just buy it and run immediately. Ideally, you shouldn't be in the fountain longer than like 5 seconds most of the time. Usually faster than that. A lot of people, like, as soon as they get back, they'll start walking back to lane and just buy all the items while they're walking. Now, as a support, you have to buy a lot of small items, so it's a lot harder to do that. Like, you might have to buy a fairy charm, a control ward, a potion, and like boots or something. And sometimes you have to pause, like, to be able to click all those items fast enough, but try to do that. Yeah, the Baron, there was, or the Dragon, there was one other shot call. Oh, yeah, where the tower was, where you were around the Dragon area, there wasn't a Dragon up, you pushed them out, 2 or 3 people had to leave, there's a huge wave bottom, and then everyone just kind of dispersed and went random places. And you could have had everybody just go get that tower, because there was nothing else on the map for them to get. They weren't able to pressure anything else, because 2 or 3 people had just backed. So they didn't have any pressure middle or top, and there was no Baron, so it was a really safe and free way to rotate bottom, finish up that tower, get map pressure, and then that would allow you to go into the red side jungle and get more vision. So just call people to go get objectives like that if you see huge waves and opportunities. It is good to get vision. It is good to add extra side lane pressure. But as Soraka, your number one goal is to really be with your team and ensure that you win team fights. Because that's the best thing that Soraka does, is she just wins team fights. Her healing is just so instrumental to many fights that it's really a waste to have you on a side lane because you don't rotate that quickly. Right? Like someone like Rakan can sort of tinker with the side waves a bit more because he can get there a lot faster because he can W over walls. And take some shortcuts to get over there. But in general, as a support, you don't want to be applying side lane pressure most of the time unless you're doing it with like a banner or something like that. So just try to get with your team as much as possible. There were a few major team fights where you were not present, and similar to that, So time your backs more efficiently to coincide with future fights. So if your team's about to contest a dragon, for example, so when they went in to go fight for that Infernal, you should have in your mind, like, okay, Infernal's going to be up in 30 seconds, so I need to back, buy wards, buy whatever items I can, and then get over there and try to get vision control. So you need to be anticipating when there's going to be a conflict around a major objective, and you need to back and be ready for that before it actually happens. Because that fight, I think you were in base, and you started to run over there, and then you chose to go run into the red jungle instead. But yeah, so try to be ready. If your team looks like they're posturing to fight, even if you really need to back, like maybe you have 2,000 gold, you can ping and tell them, hey, back, I need wards, I need this. But there's just a really good opportunity, or there's just someone really stubborn on your team that's just going to fight. You might have to just stick around for whatever the play is that's about to happen. If they're just not going to back up, or maybe there's a golden opportunity. Maybe you see 2 people bottom, and so you have a really good chance to press mid-tower and get it really quickly. Even if you have 2,000 gold and no wards, you might have to just go along with that and get that tower, because that's a very limited time opportunity. But in general, you want to try to just think about, when is my team going to fight? Can I back and be ready for that a little bit better? And the final one was so I remember one time this happened around Dragon, where you were trying to run around the Dragon pit side and other people were fighting in your jungle, and everyone's just like running in circles, and they ended up catching you out. If they're up there doing that stuff, just let them die. If they're just running around doing stupid stuff, ping them back and just let them die. That's one of the biggest things that I've seen when I've watched some pro players play. In like solo queue, and I've been watching some Camille and GP by Khan, is he just lets people die. Like, if there's just stupid stuff going on, he's like, nope, and he just walks away. And that's just what you have to do sometimes, is you have to just know, like, hey, this is a really bad fight. I don't want to make it worse by giving them extra kills or extra map pressure, so I'm just going to let them die. And I know that sucks, but that's just, it's tough. And there were probably some other instances where that happened, where you got into some bad situations too, but that's just one that really jumped out to me. So anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Good video overall. I like it. I think you're definitely improving. I like the Soraka action there. Thought you had some really good plays. But yeah, that's going to be it for anyone out there watching who wants a coaching session. Remember, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. You want to see more coaching, you can take this link. You want to see some in-depth guides, you can take this link. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.